couple minutes after 4 o'clock now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. To value everyone's time. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Eric Reynolds. I'm the Director of Risk Management here for Ventura Unified. Thank you for joining us for our Health and Welfare Benefits Open Enrollment webinar. I have Amanda and Sarika with SIBO joining us. Thank you, ladies, for being with us today. And Jody from our insurance department is also joining us. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. You don't have to wait till the end. We will be trying to answer the questions as we go along. And then I think we'll probably have a minute or two at the end also for any questions that come up. So the agenda for today is basically I'm going to go rather quickly through the open enrollment packet. And then Amanda will do an HSA presentation, the same one that was done last week at our in-person open enrollment benefits fair. And then again, if you have any questions specific to open enrollment or benefits, we'll take care of those. So basically, this year, again in October, we're having our health and welfare open enrollment period. It's the month of October. This is the time of year where you can add or drop dependents, you can add or drop coverages, or if you're eligible, but you're not currently enrolled, you can join or drop out of the plan. It's the only time of the year you can do that other than what we call a change in life status, like if you have a baby or lose coverage for some other reason. So that's going on this month. You have to get any changes in by the end of October, and all the changes will be effective January 1, 2026. SIBO in the past has, as everybody knows, Ventura Unified gets our health and welfare benefits through a group organization called SIBO. They're out of Camarillo. We have quite a few districts in Ventura County in that group. In the past, SIBO has used an electronic platform called Benetract. They've transferred to a company called Flock. And so any changes you want to make, you will need to make them in this new program called Flock. So I'm going over the open enrollment packet that you received via email. But basically, you should have also received an email from Flock. You have to check on the link, and then you go in and create an account. If you don't do anything, if you don't go into Flock, no changes will be made to your account. You'll continue with the same dependents, same coverages. It's recommended that you go in to Flock to create your account just so you can double check that all your benefits are accurate and all your dependents are accurate. If you didn't get an email from Flock, or you think you might have deleted it, or you don't remember, you can email Jody. Her email is right here on the front page, or you can call her at the district office at extension 1242, and she can resend that information to you. This year, we have we're offering the same plans as what was offered in 2025. So for health insurance, we have the traditional PPO, which is Anthem, traditional HMO, which is Kaiser, and we have our two consumer-driven healthcare plans, CDHP plans. One is with the PPO and one is with the HMO. Those will be the same offerings next year. So if you're thinking about changing, or if you're thinking about what plan is the best for you and your family, you can go to this website link right here, My Plan Choices. You put in some personal information like your number of dependents, how often you go to the doctor, prescriptions, and it will make a recommendation as to what plan they feel might work best for you. So we've talked about changes must be done this month. So we're going to keep moving on. Again, if you have questions, just please type them in the chat. Okay, so the second page was about our open enrollment benefits fairs, and you're at our second one right now. This will be recorded, and then if you or a dependent or a friend want to watch it in the future, Our plan is to post it on the VUSD website, and it'll be under employee resources under the risk management page with the rest of our health and welfare benefits information. Again, this is the My Plan choices that I was just talking about. So I'm going to kind of quickly scroll through all of this, but most of these pages have to do with the difference in premium that you would pay if you are either a newer employee post February 24, or if you work less than full time. And it breaks it down by hours per week, classified versus certificated, and the plans. So I'm not gonna really go over all of these, but again, this was all in the email that was sent to you. If you didn't get it, if you accidentally deleted it, if you need another copy, again, you can email or call Jody extension 1242, and she can re-email that open enrollment packet to you. But as you can see, these are a lot of numbers. So let me scroll through this. Okay. Once again, this year, if you elect to select a CDHP plan, it also comes with an associated health savings account, which basically an employee can but doesn't have to make a contribution to that plan, that health savings account, and those savings accumulate over the years and are always yours to keep. If you want to do a voluntary deduction, you do need to submit the HSA health deduction form, which is this next form. And again, like I said a minute ago, Amanda will be going over what an HSA is here in a second. So I don't want to steal her thunder. Plus, she'll do a better job than me anyways. Okay. Sorry, let me get this the correct way. Okay. The next few pages in your packet are what we call our plan comparisons. So you can see at the top of this, it's comparing what the benefits are for each plan. So it talks about deductibles, it talks about what's covered and at what rate, if there's no charge, what your deductible, what emergency services are, urgent care, those type of things. Then you go across the top, you can compare the PPO plan, the CDHP PPO plan, the HMO traditional, and the CDHP Kaiser plan. So again, you can go through these. They were in your packet, but it basically puts all four plans right in one location, so they're easy to compare. The next couple of plans talk about our dental coverage. And again, we are still with Delta Dental, and the calendar year maximums, what's covered, etc., is in this plan, or this page, sorry, and this page. Vision plan, again, this year, the district is offering a vision plan. There is a voluntary employee paid buy-up plan, which gives you more coverage for both glasses and contacts. So if you or your family wears those, uses contacts a lot, might be something you definitely might want to look into. It's a lot of bang for your buck if you do particularly like use a lot of contacts or something like that. Okay, this page here, again, this is all in your open enrollment packet. This tells you about our employee assistance program, up to 5 free visits per family member per year. If you're having some challenges, and it's a 1-800 number, and it can be a really good transition to get you urgent services if you need it on all sorts of items, including all of these down here. And then they help you transition, if it's a mental health issue, to your normal health coverage so that you have a continuation of care. Okay, this year again, we if you are full-time, eligible for health and welfare benefits, you can select cash in lieu, which means you receive cash every month in lieu of health and welfare benefits. You can be paid up to $5,000 over the course of the year if you qualify. These frequently asked questions should pretty much answer most of your questions. If you are a part-time member and you had benefits when this program came in place, you are also eligible for this coverage on a prorated basis. You can elect cash in lieu at any time. You have to get us the paperwork before the end of the month for it to start the next month. But once you're on cash in lieu, you can't just go back to being covered by benefits other than in the open enrollment period. So keep that in mind. Again, there's all sorts of criteria also to get cash in lieu. You have to show proof of insurance from another source, and that source can't be like Covered California or Medicare or those type of things. So more about cash in lieu. So if you're interested in this and you think you qualify, you fill out the form, check all the boxes, and send it to Jody. Okay, I'm going to scroll the next 9 pages of the packet. I'm pretty sure all 9. I'm going to scroll through real quick. We're all provided by SIBO, and there are a lot of honestly, there are a lot of legal requirements that have to be provided to all employees annually. So let me just scroll through to make sure that all of that is the legalese. I think I saw Amanda shaking her head. Yes. So yeah. So all of these 9 pages, we have to include them, but I'm not going to review them. So Amanda, before I kick it over to you for the HSA presentation, Jody and Amanda, did I forget to mention anything about open enrollment, deadlines, what they need to do, flock, my plan choices, cash in lieu, plan comparisons? Did I forget to mention anything on those?
I think you covered everything that I can think of. Not sure if Jody has anything.
No, everything was covered very well. Thank you. Just keep in mind, risk management works during fall break. So we will be here. We highly encourage you to reach out and schedule an appointment if you do have questions to ensure that we're in the building or we're not with other employees. So feel free. I left my contact information in the chat box, and Eric has gone through it. It's in your open enrollment packet as well. So feel free to reach out if you do want to schedule time next week. I would encourage you not to wait till last minute to make changes. That way you have time to think about your plans.
Okay, perfect. Thank you both. I'm going to stop sharing, and Amanda, I'll turn it over to you to discuss HSA plans, okay? Or CDHP plans, okay.
Yes. All right, let me just share my screen. Okay, you guys can see it, right? Okay, perfect. So as Eric mentioned, I'm Amanda with SIBO. And so I'm the health benefits specialist, and we're gonna go through this presentation and just talk a little bit about consumer-directed health plans. As Eric mentioned at the beginning, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, and then we'll open it up at the end, and we can unmute you so you can ask any additional questions at that time. So to start, I'm just going to define a few things just to make sure everybody understands and we're all on the same page. So an HMO, also known as a health maintenance organization, is a plan that may require members to choose a primary care physician or a medical group who can then refer you to a specialist when necessary. You do have limited access in an HMO to access care outside of the network, either Anthem or Kaiser, and your service area, which is where you live, except for emergency care, which is always covered. So if you do have an HMO and you are traveling and it's a true emergency, then you would be covered to use an outside, get care in an outside area. And then a PPO, also known as a preferred provider organization, does have a choice of physicians within the network. Referrals are not required to seek specialty care, and you have a lot more flexibility with an open network, especially when traveling away from home. And then a deductible. So deductible is the amount that you pay for covered healthcare services before your insurance starts to pay. The deductible does not apply for preventative care. I always like to give the example of auto insurance. So most people are familiar with that. If you were to get in an accident, you file a claim with your auto insurance company, you have to pay your deductible before the auto insurance company is going to pay anything. It's the same logic here with your health plan. So you do have to meet that deductible before the plan is going to start paying anything. Once you do meet that deductible, then you're going to pay what's called co-insurance. So that's going to be a percentage of the total billed amount. And so you'll pay, for example, 10%, and the plan will pay 90%. And that's how that works. And so it goes deductible, co-insurance, and then there's the out-of-pocket maximum, which that is the most you could pay in a calendar year. So for example, say you had a surgery and it costs $20,000. There's going to be a lower out-of-pocket maximum on the plan that's going to prevent you from those high costs. So for example, it could be $6,000. So once you hit that $6,000, that would be the most you could pay. And then the plan from there on out would pay for everything as long as you're using in-network providers. And then the out-of-pocket maximum and deductibles do reset every year. So on January 1st, it will reset and you'll start over. So a consumer-directed health plan, also known as a CDHP, is a high-deductible health plan paired with a spending account for out-of-pocket expenses, most commonly known as health savings account or HSA. An HSA is a savings account that lets you put aside money on a pre-tax basis to pay for qualified medical, dental, and vision expenses. And by using these untaxed dollars in the HSA to pay for deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance, and other qualified expenses, you can lower your overall healthcare cost. A high deductible health plan is defined as a health plan that has a minimum deductible and a maximum out of pocket, and that is determined annually by the IRS. All the CDHP plans that are offered through Ventura Unified School District do have the lowest possible deductible that the IRS will allow an HSA plan to have. And so a CDHP has two parts. It's a high deductible health plan plus a health savings account. So when you enroll in one of these plans, you're going to get a medical card just like you would, and that's the card you show to your provider, and so they know where to process the claims through. But then you're also going to get a debit card for your HSA account. That debit card is what you will use when you go to the doctor to pay for your services. So the high deductible health plan, there are two available through Ventura Unified, and it's the Anthem CDHP PPO 90 and the Kaiser CDHP DHMO 90. So the health plan protects you from high costs by having an annual out-of-pocket maximum. And then the health savings account comes in, allowing for tax-free savings for qualified medical, dental, and vision expenses. You do have the option to reimburse yourself from the account. So say in January, you go to the doctor and you get hit with a large bill and you don't have enough money in your HSA account built up yet, you can pay for the services with your credit card. And then when you do get money in your HSA account, you can reimburse yourself later, which is really nice. And there's no time limit on when you can reimburse yourself. So if your bill was in January of this year and you finally have the balance, at the end of the year or next year and you want to reimburse yourself, you have the option to do that. So CDHP and HSA plans. So this yellowish house is your health coverage, which your health coverage is going to protect you from high costs because it does have, again, the co-insurance where you're paying a percentage of the bill. And then the out-of-pocket maximums are in place to protect you from a huge bill. And then within your health coverage, you do have preventative care covered at 100%. You have your deductible, which we talked about, and that is the amount that you have to pay before the health coverage starts paying for anything. And that does include medical and prescriptions. And then that's where the HSA comes in, is you can use those tax-free dollars, pre-tax dollars, excuse me, that you put into your HSA to pay for services until you meet that deductible. So it's nice because you have that peace of mind of, hey, pre-tax dollars in my account, I go to the doctor, it's $100, I have money in my HSA that I can use to pay that bill towards my deductible. And then why would you want to choose a CDHP? So CDHP premiums are lower than traditional health plans. HSA deposits are tax-free from the federal level. Unfortunately, in California, you will pay state taxes on the HSA deposits. The contribution maximums are set annually by the IRS, and employees and employers can contribute to the HSA account. HSA withdrawals for qualified medical, dental, or vision are tax-free for the life of the account. If you are under 65 and you use the HSA funds for a non-qualified medical, dental, or vision expense, then there will be a penalty of 20% applied if you were to get audited by the IRS and they determine that you used the funds for non-qualified expenses. And then saving for the future, those HSA funds do roll over year to year, so you don't lose the money. If you don't use it, it just continues to grow and roll over and build. Once you hit a $2,000 balance, you do have the option to invest the funds, and it's really easy. It's in the app. You have full control over it. You don't have to invest, but it is an option if you want to. And then if you retire or you leave Ventura Unified, that is your bank account to take with you. You own the account, so that is your money to take. And then if you ever need to use the HSA for health insurance premiums, at any time, any age, you can use it for COBRA coverage. You can also use it for health insurance if you are receiving unemployment compensation, and then you can use it for long-term care insurance. Now, if you're over 65, you can use the HSA funds for Medicare Part A and Part B premiums. And then you actually can use the funds for non-qualified expenses, such as buying a car, buying a TV. And you won't get that penalty since you're over 65. You will just get taxed as income. And then now we're going to go over the IRS 2026 annual maximums. So these are the most that you could put into an HSA for 2026. So if you're an individual under age 55, you can put up to $4,400 into the HSA for the year. And if you're an individual over age 55, you can put $5,400. Family, which is 2 or more, you can put in $8,750 if you're under the age of 55, and over the age of 55, $9,750. And so again, this is the total maximum contribution allowed in a calendar year. Currently, Ventura Unified has an MOU for HSA contributions from the employer that does sunset on December 31st, 2025. But the total compensation is negotiated each year, and negotiations are scheduled to start shortly. So more to come on the contributions from Ventura Unified. And then again, Eric mentioned it earlier, but there is a form that you can complete and have pre-tax dollars taken out of your paycheck, and it will go directly into your HSA account. So transitioning to a CDHP. There are some requirements. So to be eligible means that a person can make or receive contributions into a health savings account. To be eligible, you cannot be claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return. You must be enrolled in an HSA qualified health plan, which again, your two options are the Anthem CDHP PPO 90 and the Kaiser CDHP DHMO 90. And then you cannot be enrolled in other coverage. This includes Medicare. It also includes coverage that is not an HSA qualified plan. So if you have a spouse that works somewhere else, and you guys typically like to dual cover each other, you cannot be enrolled in their coverage unless their plan is an HSA plan. This also includes FSAs, flexible spending accounts. So the only exception is if the FSA is limited purpose, meaning that it is only for dental and vision. But if it's for medical, dental, and vision, then you would need to drop the FSA in order to enroll in the HSA. You cannot be in both at the same time. And then permitted insurance coverage with an HSA. So if you do decide to enroll in the HSA, you can still have accident insurance, dental, vision, specified disease, hospital indemnity, long-term care, and disability. Those are all totally fine to have alongside an HSA. And keeping track of expenses. So you as the account holder are responsible for keeping track of your expenses. The employer is not going to keep track of that for you, nor is the HSA administrator. What is nice about the HSA is that substantiation of claims is not required. So with an FSA, typically you have to provide receipts and then get a reimbursement. An HSA, you do not provide any receipts. You can use your debit card at time of service, or if you decide to pay out of pocket and reimburse yourself later, there's no receipts that are needed to be given in order to get reimbursed back. Again, if the IRS audited you, then they may ask for receipts. So it's definitely recommended to hold on to those just in case the IRS does audit you. But in order to get reimbursed or use the funds in the account, you do not have to provide any type of receipt. And then a reminder again that the deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums do reset every January 1st. So those will reset every single year. A good tip is if you have met your deductible at this time of the year, try to get all the services you can before January 1st, because that will start over. And then we're going to go through a few claim examples before and after the deductible has been met, just to give you an idea of what the cost will look like in those scenarios. So on this one, this is going to be for the Anthem plans, and this is an advanced imaging example before the deductible is met. So on the Indemnity 4 plan, the member will self-refer to a specialist office visit, and the total billed to the plan is $155. The member has not met their deductible yet, so they are going to pay that full $155. They get a CT, and the total billed to the plan is $262. The member, again, has not met their deductible, so they are going to pay the full amount of $262. So total member cost share is $417. And then you'll see on the CDHP PPO 90, it is the same exact number because the deductible has not been met yet. So it's the same on both plans. And then over here, we're going to show after the deductible has been met. So on the Indemnity 4, you can see, again, specialist office visit, $155, but now the deductible has been met. So now the member is just going to pay co-insurance. On this plan, it is 15%. So the member is going to pay $23.25, and the plan pays the rest. And then for the CT, again, they're going to pay just that 15% co-insurance. So the total member cost share is going to be $62.55. And then you can see on the CDHP PPO 90, very similar, except that plan has 10% co-insurance. So once you meet your deductible, then you pay 10% co-insurance for the total bill, and the plan pays the rest. So actually, after deductible, the CDHP plan has a lower member cost share. And then we're going to go through the same example again. This is for Kaiser. And again, this is before the deductible has been met. On the traditional HMO through Kaiser, there is no deductible. So you're always just going to have that copay. So in this scenario, the member goes to the specialist. They pay $30 copay. On this plan, CT is covered in full, so the total member cost share is going to be $30. And then you can see on the HSA plan through Kaiser, same scenario as before, the member is responsible for all of it up front, just because they haven't met their deductible yet. And then after the deductible has been met, Again, the regular traditional HMO, it's just that $30. Nothing has changed because that plan doesn't have a deductible. And then on the CDHP DHMO, that one does have a 10% coinsurance. So again, once the member has met their deductible, they're just going to pay the 10% coinsurance for the bill and the plan pays the rest. So that's where you can see the lower cost share is after deductible has been met. And then these are just some resources. I believe Ventura Unified will post the actual presentation on their website, and then you'll be able to click any of these links to read more about them. Health Equity is the HSA bank that we use for Anthem. So if you enroll in an Anthem HSA plan, we will automatically open a Health Equity HSA account on your behalf. So in the mail, you will get your medical card, and then you will get a debit card from Health Equity. And then Kaiser Permanente has an internal bank that they use for their HSA. Same thing though, if you enroll in the Kaiser HSA plan, you'll get your medical card and then you'll get another card from their bank for your HSA. And then Eric did go over my plan choices, but again, you can answer some basic questions about your utilization in the past year, your preferences for, what's more important to you, cost or having a bigger network, things like that. And then it will recommend the top 3 plans to you based on your answers. So you can click this link when it's posted online, or you can scan this QR code and do it from your phone. And then this is an example of the email you will get from Flock. Again, it will go to your work email and you will click this link here, Get Started, and that is where you can log in, see the plans that you're currently in, see all your information, and then if you wanted to make any changes, you can do so in there, or if you see that any of your information is incorrect, you can go ahead and change that. Just a reminder, all open enrollment changes need to be completed by October 31st. And this email, a lot of people think it's clickbait or junk, so just be on the lookout for it. You should have received it already, but if you haven't, please contact Jody. And then that is all I have. So if anyone has any other questions, you can put it in the Q&A or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you to allow you to ask your question.
Thank you, Amanda. I show that we just have one open question right now. I know Jody's working on answering that. Basically, I'll just answer it for the group though. Basically, our plan choices are essentially the same as last year, 2020, as this year, 2025. The plan choices for 26. The costs have changed. They do that annually. The costs in which the district pays SIBO and which employees have to pay if they have a percentage that they have to pay if they're not full-time. Amanda talked about the employer HSA contribution. That MOU does sunset currently. But with regards to the plans themselves, they are essentially the same as what is currently in place for 25.
And I'll just add, there was an enhancement on the vision plan. So on the base plan currently, it's $150 allowance towards frames every other year. That was increased to $200 on the base plan, and then the buy-up was increased to $300. So those are good enhancements that you can take advantage of in 2026.
Thanks for reminding us of that, Amanda. Also, I don't believe there were enhancements to the dental plan this year, but the maximum did go up a year or two ago, correct?
Yes, so it went up from, I believe, 1,700 to 2,500. So that's quite a big jump. And again, that's available to anyone enrolled in your plan. So each of you would have $2,500 in dental services to use.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. I don't see any questions in the Q&A or the chat. kind of a
Sorry, someone does have their hand
Oh,
raised.
oh, perfect.
Becky. Becky, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Becky, are you able to unmute yourself? You're welcome to ask your question. If you can't, Amanda, they're saying they cannot unmute themselves.
Yeah, so we have the ability to allow people to unmute, and I did click where Becky could unmute. So anyone that raises their hand, hopefully you can unmute yourself.
Becky, you could you also type your question in the question and answer if that would work if we're having technical difficulties with the unmute option.
There's a question about the Ventura Unified contribution to the HSA
Yeah,
in
and
the Q&A.
I can answer that live if you like, Eric. The current MOU, as it stands right now for 2025, the district contributes $332 a month up to $3,320 a year into HSA accounts for legacy employees. So if you were hired before 2/14/24 and you are full-time, or you work more than 28.75 hours a week classified, you would be eligible for up to $332 a month, up to $3,320 for 2025 only.
We also have all that information in the form of flyers that we'd be happy to give to you if you want to drop by at any time. Becky, did you, sorry about the technical difficulties with your microphone. Did you want to type a question in the question and answer? Okay, seeing as how there's no questions, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you do have questions that you weren't able to type or you weren't able to ask, please feel free to reach out to myself or Jody. We'll get you the answers that you need. Again, we will be here next week, but again, next week is the final week to make any changes with open enrollment. Amanda and Sarika, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Really appreciate your help and support and excellent presentation on HSAs. Jody or Amanda, anything to add before we sign off for the afternoon?
I think that's all I have on my end here.
Yeah, not anything over here. Just remember to log into Flock, and if you can't, please reach out.
Okay. Oh, one more question. Here we go.
Oh, so we do have a question about supplemental insurance. So for supplemental insurance, we're talking about disability insurance, I'm assuming. Those are offered through vendors that the district works with. The district works with American Fidelity to offer disability insurance. And if you are a union member, you can reach out to the CTA, the standard. Both of the information for both of those organizations is on our risk management website. And American Fidelity will be coming around to school sites in November. So more to come on that through the American Fidelity Section 125 plan soon.
I'll just point out those supplemental optional coverages are employee funded. Should an employee want them? The district does not cover those type of coverages. Okay. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're here and happy to help. Again, Sibo, thanks so much. And one more question. Here we go.
Oh, it was just Sarika
Oh,
in the chat.
thanks, Sarita. Okay, bye, everybody.
Okay, have a great
Okay.
night, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.